Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit you with that incorrect logo again because we worked hard to get it, and, you know, I just haven't been able to sort of emotionally part with it yet.
And it is so good to see it.
It is. It is. One day I'll retool this whole thing for video game talk, but in the meantime, it's fine.
Welcome to Video Game Talk. I'm Rich.
And I'm Garrett.
And we are mere days away, ladies and gentlemen, from E3 2018.
Mere days. The calm before the storm, quite literally.
Oh, yeah, because video game, generally, you know, video game news, is always a little bit, slow during the months before E3. But this week especially, the companies are all in LA setting up their booths, and
they're probably not even fully staffed for the most part.
Everybody's just getting everything ready for E3. So news the week before E3 is always really slow, and of course they're getting prepped for big announcements. Now we've obviously a few things have been either spoiled, leaked, or revealed, a la Fallout 76. But of course,
tough to say exactly where leaks were involved in maybe instigating those releases.
Yeah.
But we stand on the precipice of a lot of revealed content. So the question becomes, what else are we going to see besides the stuff that's been paraded about?
And even the stuff that has been leaked, we're going to see bigger trailers and bigger things for it, and like all kinds of nice stuff. So this week we're going to focus on what we think might happen at E3 2018, which is great because, a lot of, everybody does their predictions, and we're no different. We love predictions. Kotaku had their big prediction thing, and we're going to...
semi-decent at it.
Yeah.
A solid 5 out of 10.
So we'll go through EA, of course, because they think they're all that. They have their big press conference.
Do they think that?
I think they do think they're all that in a bag of chips. They have their press conference.
They just know what they're supposed to. Do they just know what works for them and just do it?
Whatever your perspective is, EA does their press conference first on Saturday, 3 days before the event actually starts. And all these big companies, they like to do their press. It used to be they do the big conferences during the show back in the day, but over the course of the years, now they start having their big press conferences before the show starts.
Chaotic precipice.
Yeah, and that way, during the show, you're just enjoying kind of playing what they've been talking about. So EA goes first Saturday night in just a couple of days here. And so what can we expect from EA other than probably a whirlwind of disappointment along with that? Garrett, are you thinking anything specifically? Did you want to mention some stuff that Kotaku has predicted? Like, what do you want to do?
So in the research that we did leading up to this episode, one real article stands out, and that's Kotaku's article. And one particular line within it kind of resonates with me, and that is an onstage apology about Battlefront 2 loot boxes. And that is hilarious because, coming into this E3 press review, I want to say that Battlefront is probably the big shadow kind of over the whole thing, as far as EA always comes out swinging at E3, whether it's stuff that you love or stuff that you hate or stuff that you'd rather don't even care about. There's no denying that E3 is a big time for Electronic Arts, always has been, and will be as long as they're around. So, it's really no coincidence that they released their stuff, ahead of everybody else on June 9th. And then, traditionally they've dominated the floor, on this. It's really only until recent years that we've seen big players come up to match them as far as square footage is concerned. Looking at you, Bethesda, proud of you. But this year is a little bit atypical in the fact that we're staring down the Battlefront thing. And I don't want to say that's the first time that EA has really flopped or done something unpopular, but that was a big one. That was a tough, long, big one that resulted in some big falling outs, and the idea that they're losing the Star Wars license is still purely speculation, or that the Star Wars license will no longer be exclusive. Both of those things are just guesswork.
If they don't announce any Star Wars stuff at EA, I would put money that they are losing the license.
Right, or at the very least, have had to change, their ideas because it's no longer exclusive.
Yeah.
So I predict that at least part of, E3 or EA's conference prior to E3 is going to be dedicated to sort of addressing the elephant in the room. At least I hope it will be.
We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe they just want to breeze past it and be like, yeah, that happened, whatever. Who knows? But I think they will. As far as what E3 usually announces, E3's going to play their cards pretty close to their hands. I would be very shocked if we had a radical new, totally out of left field, something crazy and unexpected from EA this year. I think the closest we're going to get to that is more information on Anthem, which is, as far as I know, the only new EP coming out of that side of the business.
That's what I'm familiar with too.
Yeah,
And,
unless there's something new, but 2 new EPs would be a refreshing change.
And
of pace.
10
I'd
new
enjoy
Battle
that.
Royale games as well.
Right, yeah.
And it's funny, they were joking about that on Kotaku also. It's like, basically, it's like if you have if there's one solid prediction that pretty much everyone has, you can kind of put a safe bet that we're going to get a few Battle Royale announcements.
Right.
Because literally, especially after, the blackout, from Black Ops 4, literally anything and everything can become a Battle Royale at this point.
Yeah,
And since
Battle
that's-
Right. That top-down isometric like MOBA arena game is releasing a Battle Royale mode.
Yeah, so I mean, there's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if every single one of these big companies, the big publishers, are releasing some kind of Battle Royale game.
If it worked out that way, that would not be a shocker.
Get ready for the Battle Royale oversaturation. And PUBG,
Well,
you can't sue them all. I'm
It's
sorry.
a Battle Royale of Battle Royales.
Yeah, can't. It's a Battle Royale of Battle Royale.
It's a Battle Royale.
Okay.
Oh.
So Jason Scheer, of course, who was he's the big guy at Kotaku. He's leaked a lot of information. He was kind of like on damage control when Fallout 76 news hit, and he was like, this is the he's kind of he's a pretty reliable guy. He thinks
He knows his stuff.
He thinks there's gonna be
Kotaku's a mixed source in general, but I find Jason to be a pretty consistent, reliable sort of piece of, at least video game journalism when it comes to leaks.
Yeah, he's predicting a Titanfall Battle Royale game, which would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I love Titanfall as a game. To kind of have it as a more loose Battle Royale system, I think would be very interesting. And
It
get
is
more players into the game.
It is a system that sort of just plays itself to that level. Who knows whether or not that'll be an extension of kind of what we've already seen with Titanfall 2, or if it's just an expansion to Titanfall 2, or if it's a full-blown new game. They probably would release it in the same engine. That's just speculation, but that's what I thought. Anyway, Titanfall is well poised for a Battle Royale sort of system. I may even like it.
Yeah, speaking of Titanfall...
I really like Titanfall. I like the aesthetic, and I like big robots, so it's a tough sell for me.
Yeah, Garrett likes it a lot. Stay tuned this weekend, either Friday or Saturday. Our big Fanime video from Fanime last weekend is going to be finally released. And Garrett may have a couple of Titanfall surprises for you in that video.
Well, yeah, I wore an outfit that was very Titanfall inspired, and a lot of people were like, "Whoa, Titanfall cosplay!" And I was like, "Not really, but let's take a picture." And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed my weekend there tremendously.
Yeah, and I do feel like we could see things like Dead Space and another Plants vs Zombies, because why not? They've already melted.
You
the
could
hell
go
out
with
of it,
what is it? Kirk from Kotaku, his prediction on the Plants vs Zombies Battle Royale game.
Yeah, that could also be a Battle Royale. Everything is going to be a
I
Battle
don't
Royale
have
prediction.
in my mind a real clear-cut picture of what Plants vs Zombies Battle Royale would look like. And I think I can't prove this, but my impression is that Kirk was half joking when he said that, but I don't know for certain.
Jurassic World Battle Royale!
Yeah, that being said, it does introduce the idea that maybe we are going to see a more mobile game developed, sort of Battle Royale game. Certainly PUBG has been setting a lot of the precedent for a lot of success in the Battle Royale market, and we did see PUBG successfully release a mobile game to great success, and it was objectively a very playable game that worked well on the platform, and something I would have immediately, no information provided, voted against being good. But apparently, plays pretty great.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
All right. Any other predictions for EA? I mean, is that pretty much
I don't
it?
know. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not real invested in EA at this point. We're going to hear more on Anthem. I need some clarification on what even's happening with Anthem right now. All I know right now is it's a sci-fi thing.
Yeah, not super thrilled on most of what EA is doing, of course. So we'll see.
Whatever.
Some kind of Star Wars.
I'll be following EA very closely, mostly because of the implications to Star Wars news.
Yeah, and again, if they don't have any Star Wars news, it's looking bad for them. Moving on to Microsoft here. They got they're huge. This is now Sunday. This will be Sunday. There are 2 showcases on Sunday. First one being Microsoft. And Jason is pulling something way out of left field where he thinks that there's going to be some huge cross-platform multiplayer experience between Sony and Microsoft, maybe trying to battle the whole Steam thing. I don't know
really know
that.
where that comes from, but it is raised precedent to the idea that, like, at some point, this whole console exclusive, sort of mentality might. I mean, there is going to be a point where they give up and, either
join forces,
and this cross-platform thing becomes either inevitable or a good idea and whatnot. Is it right now? I don't No, my gut says no, but my gut's been wrong before.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say that more realistically that Microsoft will just announce some kind of fascinating new hardware or software.
Yeah.
Which is probably something they would do. You know, they're
We've
always
already
like, look at
got
this. It's the Xbox X Plus P 2. I don't know.
They do like to push the cutting edge of, you know, kind of the a lot of the playability with the new Xbox releases.
You've
And they
heard
are
of-
constantly updating the hardware in Xboxes.
You've heard of the Xbox Scorpion. Now try Xbox Sub-Zero.
Xbox Chimera Dragon plus Infinity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And then Kirk's like, cameo elements of power.
Yeah, can't go. Let's fine. I would be interested to see what Microsoft has to provide. Actually, you know what I'm hoping for? Some new Sea of Thieves content.
New Sea of Thieves
I'm
content,
really
also-
hoping. I'm really hoping that after as much as I was like really like looking forward to that game, and then it kind of came out and it was really sparse for content. I'm really hoping that they're going to be like, by the way, new giant update for Sea of Thieves coming that's going to do all these things and is going to breathe some actual life into this game.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll mention the new HD Halo collection.
Right, that's
also,
going to be cool.
Any news on any, you know, like it's hard for me to get excited about new Halo games, of course, because until Bungie gets back involved, I'm kind of out of that. It would
Also,
be,
I really do feel like Halo has told its story.
yeah, it has. You know, I thought it was done with 3, really. But
Halo
if-
could have ended at 3 and it would have been perfect.
If Bungie was to come back and do one, though,
Yeah,
I would be all about it.
right.
But they're not, because, you know, Destiny.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we will see some kind of new iteration of the Xbox, because, you know, why not?
Why
And,
not? Or some new, you know, like they say, hardware software initiative. Some
yeah,
new
maybe
cool
it could be a
thing they're
new
doing.
Microsoft handheld. You know, to
Also,
compete with the
at this
Switch.
point, the Xbox does not have any sort of VR platform, do they?
I don't think so. No.
No, I mean, as far as I know.
PSVR was like the only real like console competitor to anything.
Yeah, it's
on
anything
computer.
there. I would be very interested to see Xbox make a play for an open or a new kind of VR system, only because
First, you have to get people to actually buy the Xbox.
right. But also, the more objectively speaking, just economically, the more VR systems that are in circulation, the cheaper they will be out
Right.
of necessity for competition. So that's cool.
I would like to see them announce more stuff for, you know, like, I mean, I know they've abandoned, you know, Windows for PC as like a real platform a long time ago, just putting anything that comes out for PC is on Steam these days for the
Yeah.
most part. But I would love
But they went back to it with Sea of Thieves.
yeah, so
All
you know,
but for the specific reason that there's Xbox cross-platform and you need gamer tags to
Yeah.
interface with that. So,
so
it makes sense.
I don't think we're going to get any like specific PC news from Microsoft. This, in fact, they're calling it the Xbox Showcase. It's all about console.
I know.
for
I
them to
was really
show.
hoping that we were going to hear that the Halo collection, that they were going to, after having recognized that Halo kind of has finally run its course, they were going to open it up and cross-platform release it on Steam as well, or
Yeah.
on Xbox Store.
Well, we'll see. I
so-
think that's all we'll see for Sea of Thieves. And then when Microsoft finally shuts its mouth and opens up the floor for Bethesda at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, that's when
That's when Rich and I perk up and
Yeah.
go, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, definitely watching that. I'm real excited for anything Bethesda. Bethesda at this point is pretty much my favorite
I
company.
started off real hesitant with Bethesda's release this year because then once you guys remember a few weeks ago on the show that they
We were
came,
like Rage 2, all right.
yeah, the Walmart leak happened, and we had like a Rage in there, and I was like, what? Rage? No. And then all of a sudden Bethesda was like, whoops, Rage, and I was like, oh man, that's a big game. That's a really, really big one. And I was so sure that because they were already, like all in or a lot in on a post-apocalypse title, that they would that in my mind immediately disqualified us from another Fallout release. Because as I went on and on about last week, why would they compete with themselves when Rage 1 was already released to kind of like lackluster views? Why would you then come in and release Rage 2? Which already has a lot of ground to make up, and then on top of it, make it compete with a Fallout game, one of its objective main competitors.
Because Bethesda's like, nah, I don't care, we need all those monies.
I know, but like, if you want the money, you don't shoot one of your own games in the foot. So,
sorry, ID Software.
so the fact that we're staring down Fallout 76 and we're staring down Rage 2 once again means to me that those games have to be incredibly comfortable in how distinct those games are. So clearly there's more undiscovered about Rage that we don't know, and obviously there's a ton undiscovered about Fallout 76 that we don't know.
And I'm in full agreement with Jason from Kotaku on this because I also, as you know, have been saying this for weeks. Yeah. I think we are going to see something from Starfield. Whether it is just a little teaser, I don't think we're going to get a release date. I don't think we're going to get anything finished. We might see a few clips of the sky and some space stuff with just the title Starfield, just to make it official.
I would like to see a public acknowledgement for Starfield.
Yeah, it's like, it's happening.
I think we're maybe a year and a half out from an official Starfield release. My prediction on that has been Q4 2019. But we'll see. We'll see. They're not really in the habit of releasing things generally that far in advance. That'd be a little out of character for Bethesda. But on the flip side, they are trying to make a presence for themselves on this E3. And obviously, they've got a bunch of doodads to show off.
Yeah, they want to stand up against, all these other publishers. Bethesda wants to be known as one of the big six here,
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to...
At least as far as this E3 is concerned, they've absolutely succeeded.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to have to step it up and maybe, make some announcements that they would normally not have made until a little bit later. And I think Starfield might be one of those. I still think it's a little early for Elder Scrolls 6, especially, what they're going to talk about Elder Scrolls Online for sure in the new expansion.
They are. Elder Scrolls Online has been very, as I've said to all the Elder Scrolls fanboys, Elder Scrolls Online is doing very well commercially right now. You are not going to see a new single-player Elder Scrolls experience until the online one begins to falter or they have good reason to do that. Because as soon as Elder Scrolls 6 comes around, all those people that are playing online are just going to go play Elder Scrolls 6. They're going to gut their own,
Right, that's why I feel like we're still like 5 years out from that, which is crazy.
Quite possible.
Skyrim came out in 2011.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be over 10 years before we get, the next one.
It might very well turn into one of those like Half-Life things where it's just like, it's decades, sometimes a decade between releases.
But guys, it's fine. It's like, unless you're like, only play Elder Scrolls, like, to me, hey guys, I'm going to hurt some of your feelings, but I've always been more of a Fallout guy, so I'm glad that we're getting more Fallout content, but I do love
For a long time, I was more of an Elder Scrolls guy, and I'm going to, perhaps make an unpopular dissertation here, but Elder Scrolls Online is objectively a very solid MMO.
Yeah, I like Elder Scrolls Online, and
I know for many of you, it's like Elder Scrolls should have never even been an MMO. The concept of the idea that I am playing an Elder Scrolls game where I am not the sole and like proprietary hero of this universe. Yeah, I'm not the Dovahkiin. I'm not. I mean, that's what made Skyrim so magical. It's like it's me. It's me against the world, and I'm saving it or whatnot. All of a sudden, you take that concept and
tough tits. Now you got to work with others.
You do. You're not the hero of the universe anymore. But that being said, as much as I can say, hey, Elder Scrolls fans, you probably should be playing Elder Scrolls Online if you're really, really about it. I know it's not what a lot of you wanted, but it is here to stay for a while more than likely because think about it. If I was making money off something, I wouldn't invest a whole lot more money just though I wouldn't make money on the other thing.
Yeah.
It's just not good business, and Bethesda's not going to survive by shooting its own self in the foot. They've already gotten pretty close with this 76 Rage thing.
Oh, well, no one was going to play Rage anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
Apparently they think they do, because they have... I mean, they went all in on it. They went for a full release and like live action trailers and produced a whole video game.
Which it looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great.
I think I'll still play it, of course.
The first Rage also looked great, though. It looked great. So we'll see.
We'll see. Kirk is predicting that Bethesda will announce they're getting off of Steam and launching its own PC storefront. That's a little bit of a stretch to me. Maybe in a couple years.
They're starting to get to that point where they've got enough content to kind of have their own version of like what we saw with Battle.net. I know it's Blizzard app, but it's always going to be Battle.net for me.
Yeah, I mean, but they've had Battle.net for so long though already.
I know, but like very, you remember the moment where it became its own platform, something that appeared on your desktop in the same fashion that Origin or Steam did. Or whatnot, and it's starting to get to the point where Bethesda has that level of content where they could potentially do something like that.
I do think. That I don't think they're going to do that. I do think they have enough content to do it. I'm just saying I don't think they will yet. I think we're looking at 2 or 3 years out before.
Unless there's something going on with Steam that I don't know about that is making it so big. It makes it more advantageous for developers. Literally, more developers have decided that we've crunched the numbers. And as a big developer, we can get more out of creating a new software platform than any of what the royalties Steam are taking.
I would say if they were going to get off of Steam now, it would be some kind of internal struggle, like they're fighting with people from Valve or something. You know,
Who knows?
Anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm so jazzed for Bethesda. It's like oh no, there's other stuff, but it's like, yeah, I'm really, as you guys know from last week, I am so excited for Fallout 76. I don't care if it's a phone app. I'm excited for it. It's not a phone app, but I'm just saying it's Fallout. I'm excited. I can't wait to figure out what the hell it is. You know, and yeah, Rage 2, when it comes out, guys, please get it. Please support it.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Rage 2 has an absolutely, like, a full ticket for an open-minded sort of experience with me, especially if we start to see something unique to, like, this game mode thing, you know, or maybe they were offering something that Rage 1 didn't have.
Yeah. All right, now moving on to my foil. On Monday, June 11th, we will see very early the Square Enix their press conference, and
Which I imagine will feature 45 minutes of paste eating. Followed by a nap, and that will be it.
Expect Kingdom Hearts 2.95, I don't know, just more re-releases. I mean, you know...
Double HD 4K Kingdom Hearts prelude to the fucking prelude remix thing.
Like Jason says, a complete Final Fantasy collection for the Switch, that would be really cool.
I actually like that!
It would be really cool. At the same time, though, it's like, yeah, but it's just more... re-releases, you know, because they can't, apparently they just don't know how to finish a game anymore, or like, when they do, it's not good.
Right.
So,
well, I can see how they're not necessarily their confidence, because that's not really appropriate, you know, sort of comparison there, but I can see where, like, between Secret of Mana and a few other things, you know, the wild ambiguity surrounding Kingdom Hearts 3, the wild ambiguity surrounding
Final Fantasy VII.
2
years ago, we got that beautiful teaser for Final Fantasy VII, and then last year, it was completely ignored at E3.
It was.
Because they're having internal problems. Whoa!
I would not be shocked if we get another Square Enix press conference where Final Fantasy VII just slides under the rug.
I think there's a lot of problems. If the rumors are true, there's just so many problems. There's been like, oh, maybe they're starting over. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I would say gird yourself entirely to the idea that they don't even mention it.
Yeah. I think we will see some new footage from Kingdom Hearts 3. I think
I hope so.
People are there for that. You know, a lot of people go for that specifically. And I think that they owe it to some fans to at least show some new stuff. I think they have it within them to show some new stuff for Kingdom Hearts 3.
They did. Not to mention they've got all the new... They've slowly been teasing kind of the new universes that are taking place, and the fact that a lot of Pixar cross-platforming is happening.
Right.
So
there could be other things that even Kotaku didn't mention. Like there could be some, you know, they could show some new stuff from like the Tomb Raider series or some of the other properties that Square Enix now owns. You know,
they do have that new Tomb Raider game.
They do,
yeah.
and they'll probably show some stuff from that. You know, whether or not they do a Just Cause 4 announcement, it's like I don't know if I care or not. But
a new Just Cause game was vaguely, it was included in that Walmart
league.
Yeah. It was one of those games that were mentioned, and really across the board, not a lot of that leak has been absolutely confirmed. Was there ever? I heard somebody the other day was talking to me about the idea of a new Assassin's Creed coming out that was based in Greece.
Oh yeah, that is a rumor. Yeah, so that could happen. That would have been we're gonna get to Ubisoft next.
I know.
But yeah, they yeah, as far as Square goes, expect the Final Fantasy Battle Royale. It's like everywhere goes Battle Royale. Final Fantasy. I wouldn't be surprised they've got like 2 different like Final Fantasy mobile games that are almost that already, you know. So just
hopefully this is a big moment for Square. Hopefully they can come out and offer us something really, really cool that sort of puts some of these concerns to rest. At this point, I'm not counting on it. I'm not rooting for it. I wouldn't put money on it.
As a company, they're still making a ton of money, but from a critics and fans point of view, they are suffering from that direction. You know what I mean? Because they really need to show us something.
From a commercial perspective, as far as video games concerned, a lot of the times, you know, like, your success a few years out is deterministic on, you know, the video games you're making now.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you know, financially, they could ride the success of, you know, like, some good releases a few years ago, but if, you know, you've got to be able to consistently deliver on it because, you know, failing this year could mean that you're dead 5 years from now.
Right. So, let's move on to Ubisoft. So yeah, as you said, we're gonna hear something about Assassin's Creed. It's inevitable to hear something about Assassin's
there was another
Creed.
one in the Walmart leak. I've heard a rumor that maybe like an ancient Greece sort of thing is. Although maybe I just have a bad timeline for Assassin's Creed, but Origins is not that old.
No, well, they generally release a new Assassin's Creed game every year.
Right, I guess so.
You know, with maybe a couple of years they didn't, but usually without fail, it's a new Assassin's Creed every year. 1, 2, 3, 4, Brotherhood, you know, whatever that PSN one was, and then you know, Origins, you know. So I think they're gonna have to do some kind of Assassin's Creed, you know, so they at least got to announce it. Yeah, Origins was just last year, but yeah, I think. Ancient Greece would be really cool, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't care anymore, guys. I just don't care.
I mean, how many reiterations of Assassin's Creed are we Assassin's Creed Battle Royale?
Assassin's Creed Battle Royale! Everyone!
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about Ubisoft at the moment. I feel like, you know, like Far Cry 4 was a big moment for them. Far Cry 4, no, 5. I'm talking about 5, yes. Far Cry 5 was a big moment, and Far Cry 5 was objectively pretty decent. I know it got a lot of critical attention when it came to the ending not being what a lot of people liked, and you know, just being very close, cards very close to the chest as far as really consistently, you know, sort of the similar gameplay we've seen in other Far Cry games, just with a few more bells and whistles. I know people are hungry for something a little bit different.
Now,
I don't know if different is going to be like what you're going to see coming out of the Ubisoft press conference.
they did surprise us last year with the Rabbids versus Mario thing.
They did. That was super different. I would love something like that again.
Yeah, Kirk is from Kotaku suggesting that there will be another Nintendo crossover, maybe with Rayman and Pikmin.
Because Rabbids was objectively pretty successful, yeah? Like,
yeah, it was.
It did pretty good, and it was fun, and, you know, received some good critical acclaim. I personally was balls deep in Xbox, or not Xbox, XCOM at the time, and didn't really pay it much mind. But sweet, I love different stuff like that.
I think if you take you know, the teams that, like, what I would like to see more than like a crossover is like Ubisoft's dev teams working on a Nintendo property, like a new Star Fox game or something, where they could really take it to some crazy place, you know, because I wasn't really thrilled with that last Star Fox game. And, you know, Star Fox 64 had some of the best dogfighting on a console in the day until a couple years later when Rogue Squadron came out. But if they could make
crushed it.
if they could make
By the
something
way,
really
where's
cool.
that Rogue Squadron remake, guys? Have you seen what freaking technology's available these days?
Where is any Star Wars game besides
I don't know.
Battlefront?
Maybe that's what happens when you make an exclusive license.
We're bitter, if you couldn't tell. Other than that, yeah, we might see, like, you know, Jason is suggesting maybe Matt Stone and Trey Parker of South Park will announce another South Park game, like a Battle Royale. I know everything's a Battle Royale. Super Mario Battle Royale!
I don't know, man. I mean, the Fractured But Whole was not terribly beloved as far as games are concerned.
I will, you know, like I said too, I enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as the Stick of Truth.
Yeah, it objectively lagged behind Stick of Truth in ratings by a significant margin, despite the fact that it is objectively, you know, has a lot more going on with it.
But that would add more fuel to the fire that the next game will be something completely different. You know?
Yeah, right.
I can see
super different.
South Park kind of towny Battle Royale.
I hope that this whole like Stick of Truth whet my appetite so much for the idea of like really good South Park games, and then like Stick of Truth came out, and Stick of Truth, even though Stick of Truth objectively wasn't even that great of a game, it was just something so wild. Like someone would be like, "Am I playing a South Park JRPG?" in a loosely canon environment with like every single bit of like organic fan service like this. It was dope. It was kind of unseen and whatnot. And then they dropped the ball a little bit with Fractured, but
yeah, Fractured Butthole just worked a little bit less.
yeah, definitely a lot less. Subjectively, over 10% lower ratings on average, and that's no small margin. 20% in some cases, depending where you look.
All right. And then we get to Sony's. They're the last conference on Monday.
Right.
And
stepping off the big victory that was God of War.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God of War was huge, but it looks like nobody's really predicting anything huge from Sony. Just, you know, like, maybe the PlayStation Classics, or, you know, they do name changes on the PlayStation Network. It's like really boring stuff.
Right.
You know, hopefully Sony surprises us.
We didn't mention anything about Red Dead during the Xbox conversation.
Well, actually, that could also be during the Sony too.
It could, yeah.
Rockstar actually.
That's why I brought it up.
Traditionally, Rockstar does their announcements during Sony's press conference.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right.
Well,
because remember, Grand Theft Auto was at one point a Sony exclusive.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, back in the day, Grand Theft Auto, like people, like when Grand Theft Auto 3 especially was getting so big, we were like, oh, I want to play. It took like 4 years before it was on the Xbox, you know?
Interesting. Okay, well, that's neat.
So,
I
yeah.
only ever had a PlayStation, so it's whatever.
Yeah, so
Sony either doesn't have much this year or has just actually succeeded in keeping most of their crap under wraps. I know God of War, I'm sure, had to have just been an exasperating experience for them to produce that monstrosity of a game, but and it's good. Oh man, is it good. It's objectively one of the most critically acclaimed games this year, but you know, now it's just kind of the question of like what's next, because even experts don't seem to have a lot of you know, like ammunition as far as like what Sony's even been up to otherwise.
Yeah, but since you bring it up, I do think we're going to see a big trailer for
We will probably get some more attention
obviously
and love from Red
we
Dead.
already know it's coming out in October, I think, so
Yeah.
we're good, but it'll be nice to see some new footage maybe.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, the Sony conference promises to be a snooze fest beyond belief. And then
I
finally,
hope it's not.
and then
That's
finally,
my current bet, but I hope it's not.
Nintendo, the only conference to actually happen during the actual conference,
Right.
is
Always sticklers for tradition over at Nintendo.
you know, Jason's actually predicting something that would be really exciting. A Breath of the Wild sequel that, you know, basically uses the same engine and everything, and he compares it to how, of course, Majora's Mask only came out like 18 months after Ocarina of Time. You know,
Which
much
is wild, because
much like,
those games, those were two heavy hitters.
yeah, much like how Obsidian just took 18 months to make New Vegas after Fallout 3. You know, they just used the same engine. You know, if I would not be unhappy if they just made another Breath of the Wild style game using that exact engine and basically make the same game with a new story. Totally fine with that. Be great.
Right. Especially if it's something kind of, you know, if Breath of the Wild is the sort of anatomical equivalent of Ocarina in Time in this case, and this, you know, unspoken sequel is sort of the equivalent of the Majora's Mask, a big tonal shift, very mysterious and whatnot, and, you know, kind of like that weird downward turn that makes things kind of different. I'd be down with that. That sounds pretty good.
I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to predict, in this big prediction here, I'm going to predict they announce some sort of huge Star Fox, Metroid, or Mother, a.k.a., you know, I can't think of it right now. You'll hate me for it. You know, Ness. What was it called in America? I only know it as the Mother series. Earthbound. God damn it. There's dogs barking. It's ruining my concentration.
I guess my dogs are just lost their mind.
Sorry. I'm sorry that you hated me for 10 seconds. Earthbound. I'm expecting some kind of Earthbound / Mother thing. Yeah, it's... So Earthbound or Metroid or Star Fox, some big announcement. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just expecting some huge announcement to come out of one of their big series. We just had a big Mario game, so that's
I had
not
a
gonna
fan
happen.
on the Discord talking about how he predicted a new Animal Crossing release.
Yeah, there's always new Animal Crossing releases.
Oh, okay.
I don't care as much.
Hey,
about
I
Animal
heard
Crossing.
you. I heard you. I care about Animal Crossing, although traditionally
it's like I ain't in Animal Crossing.
my love for Animal Crossing is kind of proxy reverse coming from a love for Stardew Valley.
Let me think here. I also wouldn't.
I am hoping that their new little Chucklefish's new Wizard School game gets some attention in the indie light at E3.
Yeah, I would love the Zelda too. I wouldn't hate the announcement of a new Mario game so soon after Odyssey, but I think that that's a year off at least from an announcement.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metroid, Star Fox, one of the big Nintendo IPs.
The Switch has been doing pretty well recently as far as some games are concerned, and I really had to bite my tongue as far as being someone who was pretty critical of the Switch when it first came out back in the video game fights days, because I have only enjoyed my Switch.
Or at least just give us a really cool 4K, not 4K, they don't
Right.
a really good HD remaster of Star Fox 64.
I need a game I can play with my fiance because she likes the Switch. And it is not light on co-op options. There are some good, some others. So bring it on. The couch co-op is a dying breed.
A new Mario Party maybe, or something
Yeah.
like that. Anyways, yeah. So and then Kirk was
Also, we forgot to mention that the Halo game, that these new Halo re-releases have mentioned overtly that they are trying to double back a focus on couch co-op.
Well, we didn't mention that today, but we did mention it, I think.
That's
last
right.
week
Okay.
or
Well, that
something.
begins mentioning, and I'm hoping, kind of by proxy, that Nintendo's going to follow suit and give us some more options there, because I'm enjoying that about the Switch. It's a reason I play the Switch as opposed to anything else.
And then Kirk from Kentucky was a lot saltier than Jason. He's saying some weird ass hardware for the Switch, like a big ass USB camera or something.
I know, right? I also want to see if maybe, I don't know, like, I know the Labo is out and it's a thing, but are they going to take Nintendo Labo any further? Are we going to see niftier pieces of hardware for that? Is there going to be something more innovative there? Not that it's not already kind of out of left field to begin with. I'd be interested to see if, you know, we're getting a second release of Labo hardware.
Maybe. Also, I just
I like weird, different shit like that, and so far Nintendo has been good about it.
You can give me a new Donkey Kong game too, Nintendo, please. New Donkey Kong. Not Mario versus Donkey Kong. A new Donkey Kong. Thank you. That's it. Those are all the conferences, and of course there will be, you know, some smaller announcements for some of the indie companies.
We're gonna have
throughout the
a
show.
lot to talk about week after next when this is like all out in the open. By the way, to that point, maybe we should mention, we'll probably touch on this at the end, but are we gonna get a video game talk next week?
That's a good question.
During E3, literally as it's happening, because you are going to be at E3.
I will be at E3.
I was almost going to be at E3, but I have to work.
You know, we'll see. We'll see about that. Because we're going to have a lot of videos up on the Rich Alvers channel. During the, like, we're going to, like, you know, something, we didn't really do this, I guess, I'm going to say this now since I haven't already, but during E3 2016, we did a lot of, like, little camera videos that we could easily, like, take, oh, look, it's the Breath of the Wild room for, like, 30 seconds, and then just, like, upload that to YouTube immediately. We're going to do that again, because I think we only had, like, one E3 video last year, and I was like, I don't know why we didn't get more into it last year, but we're going to do more of the 2016 thing, where as we are experiencing all the different rooms, and we do everything, we're going to be, like, taking videos and uploading those immediately as we go. So there's going to be a lot of content on the channel next week as we're actually at the conference. As far as video game talk, you know, maybe if you want to do one, like, I'm just trying to think here, because I'm either going to be at the conference or on my way home by the time that we usually do
Not
this.
a problem. I mean, if there's going to be little mini videos, that'll probably constitute.
I was going to say, there's going to be so much video game content on the channel next week for everything that's going on. I think that's going to suffice. So we'll probably take a break from the usual.
I just want
next
to
week.
tell them what to look for.
Yeah,
that's all.
So you're probably not going to get a traditional video game talk next week, but then 2 weeks from now we will do like a complete, like, going over everything we learned and you know, just talking about what we saw and you know how everything. We're going to do a debrief 2 weeks from now on all that stuff.
Okay.
All right. So last week we asked you a question, and it was, what do you guys think Fallout 76 is going to be? And some of you guys answered. Why don't you say the first one there, Garrett?
Chaotic Gamer says, I feel like it'd be a small online game, not a full game.
Sorry,
like,
I'm gonna move this over
whoa,
here.
okay.
Sorry, we're gonna move it. Ah! Guess who messed it all up? It was your boy Rich Alvarez. I got rid of it while he was saying.
So I was reading it. I was actively reading it, my eyes coursing over it, and he moved it onto my fourth monitor. And
then proceeded to
close it instead of maximize
Here we go.
it.
Sorry. Here we go.
All right. As I was saying, Chaotic Gamer says, I feel like it'd be a small online game, not a full game like the other games. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe it'd be like a New Vegas thing, just taking everything and working on the already complete game, but new skins and settings. Does that make sense? I think so. And I think you're touching on kind of what I think a lot of people are thinking it is going to be, is a lot of the heart and soul of Fallout in a, you know, sort of traditional kind of adventure RPG sense, but with, you know, a multiplayer element, whether that's, you know, sort of like instance co-oping or, you know, a little bit more, not quite an MMO thing. I think we've mostly shot down the idea that, like, it's going to be a full-blown MMO, but the idea that it's, like, multiple people on a server, you know, similar to what we see with, like, you know, Rust and stuff like that. Rust is, you know, throws out a lot of that.
Yeah, so. Definitely won't be an MMO. But yeah, I think that you know, at least if the rumors are true, and again, we're going to find out in a few days. But yeah, I personally think it's going to be just Fallout with a co-op option. That's what I think. But we'll see.
That's what you want it to be.
That's what I want it to be.
Yeah, okay. We should separate that. I can already tell Marty Man's answer right now is basically that he predicts that Fallout 76 is going to legitimize the canon of Mario 64 and follow his tribulations into Mario Legacy.
Yeah.
Which would be dope, but no.
That's not going to happen.
It is not going to happen.
Oh yeah, Philip Bayer says, I'm hoping it's just Fallout with co-op, but I doubt it. It's probably more of a survival / base buildy kind of thing. I think
You've touched on both of our thoughts
yeah,
at this point.
I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I really think it's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Because Richie's hoping for the first part. I'm thinking it's going to be the second, so that's all good.
And I haven't read far enough on this one to know if it's a question or just a statement, but Chick3N Nugget
says, Chicken Nugget, for starters. Those three are supposed to be E's.
Oh, I was Chicken 3, Nugget 3, T.
I see you.
Chicken Nugget.
Chicken Nugget is simply clarifying the fact that due to some lore discrepancies that I believe they are pointing out, Deathclaws could be there in some limited sense.
Cool.
So that's all good. I don't think it's an answer to the question in any other sense, but there it is. And is that it?
I think that's it. All right, guys. The question for this week is really easy. Out of the 6 companies that are holding a press conference, so Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA.
Who will reign supreme?
Yeah, who will
reign supreme? Who's going to kill it this year? Who's going to come out on top, slugging, blood covered in their knuckles, just like, we run the battle royale? Sort of thing. Because E3, when you think about it, is a battle royale in of itself. It's just a PR battle royale. So who's going to win? Who's going to get that winner PR chicken dinner?
Cool.
If you catch my drift.
So, yeah, just say, who do you think is going to win E3? And I will actually try to answer those questions at some point during our videos at the conference.
Right, and if not, we can do an absolute wrap-up, at the very end to be like, because presumably 2 weeks from now during the next, fully legitimate, video game talk, we'll get a chance to look back and be like, oh, yeah, these people were right. Or, against the odds, this one person who had a fringe opinion about, Sony's gonna kill it. Sony's gonna fucking knock the door down with some shit. And we're like, no, there's objectively no evidence. And all of a sudden, Sony comes in with, some amazing shit.
Sony's like, guess who ordered this amazing thing you've wanted for so long? I couldn't think of anything in that moment.
Right.
But yeah, I'm super looking forward to everything, and I know that Garrett is looking forward to everything from I'm watching it on my computer point of view, right?
At the end of the day, as much as I would love to be at E3 and experiencing things firsthand, I will say that the thing we all have in common is the idea that E3 is just a prelude to playing the video games.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking forward to.
I can almost guarantee that Garrett will be with us at E3 2019.
Yeah.
Assuming that your schedule allows it.
Yeah.
Because, he won't be doing any crazy other things that he
needs
time off
life,
for,
balance. Also getting married this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the big thing. He's got to take off, time for, the wedding and the honeymoon and, Wasteland and everything.
Which is a good thing. All these are good things. But in the meantime, I can be the tiniest little bit sour about missing E3. But it's okay, y'all.
Sorry you had to get married this
I'm going to play the game, so whatever. I just wait a little longer.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching our E3 rundown for this week. As usual, just get on our Discord. It's in the description below. Get on the Patreon.
The bell and the auto notifications.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Facebook, Patreon, and then hit subscribe, hit the bell, and then hit all because YouTube hates. Just easy functionality.
That's literally what you need to do in order to get notified to anything that we do now. I'm sorry, we didn't make it this way. In fact, I would have chosen something very different.
I would have chosen YouTube 2008. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye!
Bye.